Gotcha.
Hate it. Did you hear me sneeze at all? Did you see me sneeze at all?
It's called an intro sneeze.
I hate it. I hate you, EJ. You caught me cold. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Luna.
You don't have to say hello to me, okay?
I did. Do you want this Dutch angle you got going on?
What is Dutch angle on?
The camera's at an angle. Baby Marxist said, bless you. You're frozen.
Thank you.
All right.
You are frozen, not me.
Audience, is Luna frozen or is it just my setup?
Hi, everybody. I'm Luna. Welcome to my MOONCAST. This is a very weird one. Okay. So I'm scared. Sneeze.
She's so mad.
Yeah, imagine you like prepare it, like trying to be breathing here, and then the first one tries to sneeze before the stream, and then the moment you sneeze, they put it on the screen. Great. Choppy?
Yeah, they're saying you're choppy.
All right, I wanna be back in. No, my internet is fine now. Hope it's working now.
I'm gonna close my thing so that it's not.
Yeah.
Taking bandwidth.
Don't take all of my internet. All right. Hi, everybody. So, I'm streaming from my bed, and I'm sitting as a Vietnamese style. I am squatting and sitting both of my knees up like this. It's a very comfortable position for most of Vietnamese people. I'm still lagging to you. Really? My internet on my side says good. Weird.
He's a liar. That was a liar.
I hate that song. Please stop. I don't know if you know that song. Do you like it or hate it? I hate it.
He's a liar.
It annoys the heck out of me. So please don't.
I like it, for the record.
You just
I like the Ice Spice collab. Come on.
Is the heat wave decreasing? It is. Start having rain sometimes, so kind of less. It's still very hot, about 105. Still hot, but not crazy hot. Let's play the song. No,
that will definitely be a copyright.
Yes.
Claim crap.
You concerned about the copyright? I concerned about my mental health.
I can sing it for you.
No.
He's a liar.
No.
That boy's a liar.
I hate that song so much that you don't understand. It's unreal. I hate that song.
Why?
Cringe. Everything about it is cringy.
You're just old. Boomer Luna.
You're older than me. You're 40.
I'm young at heart.
Yes.
I like the song. You don't. I like what these kids today are listening to.
I'm drinking some Lotus tea. It's a Lotus tea that I bought from Ho Chi Minh's house. So did you know that Ho Chi Minh was born in the Lotus village, and growing lotus was like the main farming kind of plants in his hometown. It's very cute. They grow lotus. It's a very beautiful village.
Alvarez can't believe I'm 40. Listen, Alvarez, you'll be here soon enough. That's one thing I've learned. You think you got all this time.
You think you got all this time. All right.
That's not for whom the bell rings.
Everybody, I am very happy to tell you for the first time, Matthew, super chat. Hey Luna, I heard about terrorist attack. Ooh, yeah, that led to yes. Do you know anything about this? Yes, I do know a lot of this, but I am not ready to talk about it yet. I hope that you can wait for a while, because we are still collecting more information about who's the leader, who funded them, and how did it happen, and how many victims finally, and it's just still all information all over the place, and we don't know what's real, what's not real. So I am planning to maybe somehow inform you about this with the full, information as much as I can find. But for now, I cannot comment about this. But yeah, yes, there is a terrorist attack in Vietnam happened last Saturday, our time. Yeah, it's a 45 arrested already. Yes, it is. But that's it.
Hold on, I gotta ban somebody.
Oh yeah, do it. But like, yes, I can comment on it right now, and hopefully I can talk about it in the future when I have a full information. Because again, you know me, I don't want to give you some information that turned out to be not true. So okay.
Just be careful with the chat right now.
Yes. I'm gonna trust you 100% on that.
But I'm saying, just don't read any chats for people you don't recognize.
Yes.
I'm just dealing with some ridiculous trolls.
Okay, back to the main topic today. I got this a little bit by the chat. All right. My internet is down again. Is that? I want to be back in 1 second. 1 second. Maybe like on and off. Are you using VPN at all?
My VPN is currently off.
All right, mine too. But it's my internet's like on and off. Weird. I want to reload and be back.
Do you want me to give you my mobile?
Okay, I'm back. So I'm just afraid my internet's kind of choppy for you, so I just refresh my browser. Okay, I have a good news for you today. I just finished the rough translation of the part 2 of the book. Part 1 is Dialectical Materialism. Now it's part 2 is about historical materialism. And today I'm gonna read an article written by the Communist Review, one of the main very famous trustworthy news source about Vietnam coming from the Communist Party of Vietnam. And you can see that in this just a normal daily life article, it is filled with historical materialism and democratic centralism, and dialectical materialism too. It just
and historical materialism.
Didn't I say the historical materialism the first time?
Listening.
So
sorry.
Yes, that was quick. Congratulations. Thank you, everybody.
That was the easy part, though.
That was the easy part. Here's the thing.
Well, not for me, but for
translating the first book, the first part about dialectical materialism, it was a bit hard for me because of course, it is the first time I did something like this, and my brain needs, training to translate a philosophical book like that into a different language is very difficult. And it has a lot of dialectical materialism. It has a lot of categories and rules and laws that's complicated, and need a long time to take it, because dialectical materialism is kind of ideology, not like a philosophy, a methodology that tend to explain all things and phenomena and ideas in this universe, right? But about historical materialism, first of all, my brain, I have experience working on it, and I deeply understand dialectical materialism. And also at the same time, historical materialism mostly claim to deal with human history. So it's simpler for my brain to deal with it. I don't know how. But yes, it took me about how many weeks? Less than a month.
Translation?
Oh, less than a month, right?
Yeah, less than a month.
Less than a month.
About as long as we've been back in Vietnam.
Yeah, less than a month to finish the rough translation. Now, all I need to do is meet and EJ to.
I need to edit it.
Sit together.
Edit it,
yes.
And then we need to sit together and make sure the whole thing is.
And the annotation.
And
if there's any annotation needed. So, yep, there we go. The next part is gonna be about political economics. It's gonna be hard. We're gonna use matrix. We're gonna use like a little bit of logic, math in it, and that is the hardest part because political economics are part of it. The part 3 mostly, about capital volume 1, 2, 3. It's like a condensed, like capital volume 1, 2, 3 is already very dense and hard to read, hard to understand. Now this part 3 of the book will be the even more condensed version of volume 1, 2, 3. So it's gonna be a brain challenge for my brain to do that. And the last part is gonna be about scientific socialism. Very interesting, like that. So, yep. You love my dress. Thank you so much. This is our traditional áo dài. It's called áo dài. It just means like a long dress, a long shirt. And yes, it is truly a long shirt. It's a one piece right here from all the way top to bottom. It's long like this. And yeah, and it's like this. I chose to kind of look through like this. Love it. Right, okay. Capital is so dense, but I believe in you. I mean, here's the thing. I don't know why I passed this book the first time, the first semester. I didn't know. I don't know why. Even to this day, I don't know why I passed it. Because at that time, it was so hard for me. I don't know why. I couldn't understand those things.
Does Twitch have... This is a question for the audience. Does Twitch have subtitles, like auto subtitles, for live streams? Because I don't think YouTube does, and somebody just asked in the chat. And I thought I'd heard at some point that Twitch added automatic subtitles.
I somehow also heard something about that.
I don't know. I'd like to tell Medi if that's an option somewhere. Or if YouTube has it somehow, that would be good too. Like live, live subtitles.
Vietnamese comrade said this look a bit old on me. I am old, I'm sorry. Dang it.
I like it.
I like it. All right. Some channels do, but I don't see them now. Maybe it's like a short.
Is it a plugin or something? I could look into that.
A short-term kind of plugin, or
I'll look into that. I'll look into it. I'll Google it. Sorry, I thought the chat would just know.
I literally just finished reading Capital Volume 1. Took 6 months. It's hard. This is the thing that I can confirm you that it's freaking hard to understand. You haven't had a chance to read Capital. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I haven't fully read Capital yet. No. I touched a little bit of Capital Volume 1. And then that was it. When I read about, like the money value. Is shit like that? Okay. But then we studied it in the books, so. Checking the chat now. I think I need your internet because my internet keep like being out. Everyone's older than 22 is old. Dang it. Really? Must be 22? Hey.
All right, my mobile hotspot is up. Do you have it? I think that computer has it, so we can log in.
I think so too.
All right, Luna will disappear for a second, but she will be back. First, she has to bumble around with the computer for a second.
I don't see it yet.
It might take a second. You still don't see it? It's on.
I see everything but your hotspot. Oh, got it now. All right, I'm back. Is that better or worse? Please give me feedback. I don't know. Haha. Oh, I've said I love book 1 and excited for book 2. Me too. Hopefully we can. So okay, now
What?
My internet I just got out. I don't know. Okay, first of all, before being able to understand this article, quick, fast education about democratic centralism, socialist democracy, and historical materialism, and also dialectical materialism. Don't panic. It's not that complicated. I'm going to give you a very simple version of it. But first of all, now start with dialectical materialism. Dialectical materialism is a methodology. It is a scientific worldview for anybody to use that as a lens to look at the universe, to look at things and phenomena and ideas in human society too, to understand it. Now, here's a fact. Here's the truth about this universe. This universe is very extremely complicated, and there are still many connections and rules and laws and knowledge that we as a human being, we don't know about it yet. We just like a baby step into understanding it. So, yeah, remember that this universe is very extremely complicated, way more complicated for our human brains to fully understand it. So, dialectical materialism is a scientific methodology to help your brain understand scientifically about this universe, to understand the complexity of this universe and trying to break it down into smaller parts, smaller connections, so we can, understand it. But at the same time, we can still be aware of the complexity of this universe. So that's the purpose of dialectical materialism. And the most important thing about dialectical materialism is that you understand that in every single thing, phenomenon, or idea, there are contradictions. There are contradictions within a thing or phenomenon or idea, and there are contradictions. There are connections, relationship between things and phenomena and idea. It's like everything is connected to each other. They interact with each other, and they have a relationship, and they have contradictions with each other. It's just that. Understand that complexity. So the participles of dialectical materialism, when also understand that everything affect and impact each other. There is nothing that's static or separate completely from the rest of the nature world. All right. Now that is dialectical materialism. Now it's about historical materialism. A lot of, especially in the West, especially Google, if you go Google, Google historical materialism, it will give you an answer that historical materialism is a synonym to dialectical materialism. And I want to tell you that this answer is completely wrong. Google is completely wrong. Historical materialism is totally different from dialectical materialism. Historical materialism is application. Siri, shut up!
You need to just keep your phone. Can you turn off Siri like temporarily or permanently?
Permanently. I want to do that. All right. Historical materialism is an application of dialectical materialism Shut up, Siri. Oh, seriously.
Seriously, huh? I see what you did there.
Oh, I see. All right. Historical materialism is an application of dialectical materialism into human history. It's just that. It is a scientific methodology for us to look at the history of human beings, of mankind, to understand how humans form a society and how that society changed in the past, why that society changed, and predict the direction that our society will transform in the future. It's just that. And remember this. Dialectical materialism, meanwhile, dialectical materialism tend to explain the development and the change of everything and phenomena and idea in this world, in this universe. Historical materialism only claim to study human history.
Holy smokes.
Yes.
Sorry, I need to interrupt for an accessibility report.
Mm.
What's this called again? It's called live captions. Okay.
There is live caption?
Yeah, will we have people watching, right? Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm EJ. This is the most ridiculous setup we've ever had.
Yeah.
I have to like crawl on in my pajamas. Hi, everybody. We do have somebody who is hard of hearing right now watching and who asked about captions. And I just checked, and Windows 10 and 11, I believe, have a feature called live captions. And you just, for me, I just did it. I downloaded it in about a minute, and it will automatically caption any video you play, including the live stream right now. And it's working. I'm shiny. I'm sweaty.
You're shiny.
Because I went outside today for about 5 minutes, and I've been sweating ever since.
That's so weird.
So anyway, live captions on Windows 10 and 11. I don't know if Android or Apple or anything have similar features, but Windows does have that feature. So yeah, check it out.
Here's the thing. Another Vietnamese Conrad like summarized historical materialism right here on the stream to you. Apply materialism to understand history and the way the world had been changed and will change. I told you that we truly have education about this, and most of the Vietnamese students that you meet, they will be able to understand this. It's not like it's like a high level thinking thing. It's just a normal thinking. All right, so
it's so cool. Sorry, it's just it's captioning everything you're saying.
Oh, right.
It's really cool.
Does it work well at all? Do I have to change my accent a little bit?
I gotta push play.
Push it play.
I'll read the caption. Does it work well at all?
Nice. All right.
Do I have it to change my Excel a little bit? Okay, it's not perfect.
It's not perfect.
Push it play. I'll read the caption. Does it work well at all? Question mark. This will loop forever because now I'm reading what I'm saying.
Oh my god.
So now it's just gonna push it play. I'll read the caption. Does it work well at all? Question mark. This will loop forever because now I'm reading what.
All right. Okay. Now. So that is historical materialism. So now you understand that it's totally, absolutely different from dialectical materialism.
And hey, Alex just said if you go to accessibility settings in Android, Linux, and Chrome, they have the same settings.
Oh.
So your device hopefully has that feature.
All right. That's cool. Good to know. Right
All
now.
right, I'm done.
Finally. Finished with dialectical materialism and historical materialism. Now move to democratic centralism. Democratic centralism is a principle. It is not an ideology. It is just a principle that communists and communist parties all over the world followed. And it is it started with Marx and Engels started with they learned democracy throughout human history using historical materialism. They figure out what democracy means in society and how it changed over time. And Lenin was the one who took this knowledge and combined it with his actual experience of building a communist party and started a revolution and run a whole government of the USSR in the 20s. So he came up with a principle of democratic centralism. It means that every group of human beings, not just Communist Party, every single group of human beings or society must have some degree of democracy and centralism. It must. So democracy means that everyone in that group has the right to raise their voice, to raise their concerns, and to have the right for their voice and their concerns to be heard by the leaders of that group. That is democracy. They can vote, they can express their thought and their ideas and their concerns and make sure that those ideas are heard. That's a very important part of democracy. Centralism is something that keep that group a group. It's just that. Because without centralism, it's not a group at all. It's just a pack of individuals who have no common with each other, and it's not a society, it's not a group. It's just a bunch of individuals lumped together like that. So yes, it is literally like a very scientific methodology of looking at human society, human groups, that there must be some degree of democracy and degree of centralism to form a group of human beings. So Communist Party all over the world also follow that scientific method and understand that there must be, yes, democracy and centralism. When we as a communist, we must balance that kind of understanding about human groups. Means that we as a communists, we have to have strong centralism so we can organize together, stick together to fight against our enemies, which are capitalists and fascists. All right, very strong centralism like that, so we can survive the attacks from our enemies. But at the same time, we still need to protect, promote, and maintain democracy for our group members to make sure that everybody is heard, to make sure that everybody can express freely their thought and their ideas. So that is to balance those things. So democracy and centralism, from like a very shallow kind of understanding, they might look like they contradict each other. Democracy and centralism means like they must fight each other all the time, right? But in fact, dialectical materialism proves that democracy and centralism, if we do it right and correctly and accurately, it can, promote each other, support each other, and make each other stronger. Means that to make a communist party strong that can resist the outside threat, but at the same time, it can maintain the democracy to maintain, the what is it called? The freedom for every member to express their thought and idea, right? All right, and the thing that okay, about socialist democracy now, so this is what difference. In the West, you've been, learning your whole life, been, fed your whole life from your propaganda outlet, mainstream media, that, the West is true democracy. Why are countries like Vietnam, China, Laos, Cuba is not democracy? We are authoritarian. That is what a very common knowledge in the West. Now, that is not true. What you have in the West is called bourgeois democracy. What does bourgeois democracy mean? Bourgeois democracy means a democracy, but only for the bourgeoisie, for the working class. And what you have is illusion of democracy. So, for example, like in the USA, the biggest capitalist nation on earth, you have two parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. Now, on the outside, on the very shallow understanding, you have a democracy, you have a freedom to choose one or two parties. You also have a third parties, but they don't mean anything. They cannot earn any votes. So no, it's illusion totally. Even though, in theory, you have a third and fourth and fifth parties, but they don't have any powers. The main is Democrats and Republicans. You have an illusion of democracy, and every 4 years you vote. And you think that your vote means something, either Democrats or democracy. But what is in fact? Your vote don't mean anything, because whatever kind of party you vote, the capitalists win. The capitalists who control the both party and the government, and they will make sure that whatever candidate, whatever party you vote for, they're gonna serve the capitalist class, the ruling class. Now that is bourgeois democracy. And your democracy is just an illusion. All right? What we as communists we want to build is socialist democracy, where the people, the democracy of the people, run by the people and for the people. That is very important. That is the difference. And what we call in our country like Vietnam or China or Laos is a people's democracy. Meanwhile, in the West, we call it the bourgeois democracy. And that is very different like that. Let me take some water. Socialist democracy is a democracy, a new form of government that exists to protect the right of the people, the right to express themselves of the people, and to make sure that the people, their votes mean something. To make sure that democracy is to build a strong society for communists and socialists to protect the lives, the existence, and to maintain, like a strong economy of the people in that society. That is what we are building. Now, we do not claim that we already have a socialist democracy. No, please don't get me wrong. We are still building it. It's not fully reached yet. So please don't misunderstand that. We never claim that. What we're trying to do is we are, countries like Vietnam, China, and Laos and Cuba. We are like the few first countries in the world that trying to do something different. Trying like the first countries to walk on this path. It is totally a new path for human beings. So we don't know what's in the future, what is waiting for us, what we can do to slowly forward step by step. And we know that we will make mistakes. Yes, we know that we will have achievement, and also at the same time we make mistakes, and we will learn from that mistakes and trying to fix them, try to not commit the same mistakes in the future. And so what we want you to do right now is to look at us and learn lessons from us. That is the whole purpose of my existence here. I'm not here to just praise Vietnam and praise, this history of this country, because I know that we make mistakes. I know that we are not perfect. And I do not want you to just copy 100% what we've been doing. No, don't copy us. No. All you can do and all you should do is to look at us, look at the history, look at the achievements and the mistakes that we did, and learn lessons from it, okay? And apply that into your path, because each nation, each society will have their own material conditions. Therefore, the path toward, a socialist democracy is going to be different too. How to apply it and what the obstacles, what the challenge you will meet will be totally different. So so a lot of you misunderstood me and said that I am statist and I never criticized Vietnam, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's totally wrong. And it's like, it's absolutely, a very bad faith argument against me, the smear campaign against me, because I never tell you to do whatever Vietnam does. And I criticize Vietnam a lot about especially corruption. We are dealing with a lot of corruption right now, and I talk about that a lot too. So yeah, all right. So that is a basic knowledge that you need to know before going to this article today. Scientific socialism socialism is another. I will talk about it after you have some, very, like understanding of that he's and stuff.
What?
The internet is kind of lagging.
I know they're saying you're frozen now. I could try to set up this.
Not here, think. No, I don't think so.
If we had an Ethernet cable, I could set this up. You might want to try the Wi-Fi again. I don't know. This is not working, obviously.
Yeah.
Because we're too deep in the building.
I know that. Okay. Hi, everybody. Is it better?
You're frozen.
Oh, gosh. I chose different internet now. Still frozen?
No, it's okay. You're fine.
All right. I don't know why. You can hear but not see me. Good. At least you can hear me. At least. That's better. Okay. Because I rather lose, image than audio. I rather lose video than audio. All right. Sharing this right in the screen yet. Weird. I think somebody in the building is using the internet, maybe something. That is why it's so unstable right now. All right, this is the article. So this is the article that I want us all to read today. It is about here's the thing, it's a pretty long article, but I will read it slowly and we'll stop to explain and answer the questions if you have. This article is written in September 2022 about raising awareness and addressing correctly the practice of democracy, the rule of law, and social discipline relationship. I don't like the word nexus. It's like relationship in Vietnam today. Communist review. Okay, this is my suggestion. If you want any good source about Vietnam, official source, it is a good page to start with. This is a magazine written by a very, 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 very good high ranking or like good like professors in philosophy in Vietnam that they wrote, and you will understand a lot about the ideology of Vietnam, Communist Party of Vietnam, and the past towards the future. Practicing democracy and strengthening the rule of law, ensuring social discipline is the 10th nexus added in the document of the 13th Party Congress, forming a system of 10 major nexus. Again, I don't like this
Just
word.
say relationship.
Relationship.
Just don't say nexus.
Yes, demonstrating the law of đổi mới, integration and development in Vietnam. The current urgent requirement is to study theory. Yeah, that is why. Do you remember my thumbnail? Read your theory. The current urgent requirement is to study theory, make an empirical assessment, and propose solutions to maintain balance in the relationship between practicing democracy, strengthening the rule of law, and ensuring social discipline in Vietnam in time ahead.
All right, now explain what that means. You can't just dump that on people.
All right, what don't you understand in this, people?
That's not how you... Come on.
God dang it. Okay, because like here's the thing too. My biggest problem is that is why I am not a good teacher.
Just break it down.
I'm sorry. All right.
You do this all the time and you do a great job. Just do it.
All right. What does this mean? It means that the Communist Party of Vietnam just said, one more part in the goal of Vietnam to build a socialist democracy is that in the time of integration, it means that in the time that Vietnam trying to trade in the world with the world and trying to integrate with the world to, make our country strong and have a more soft power. You understand all of that, right? What we need to do right now is to make a stronger rule of law to protect the people's rights and to protect our democracy. That is very important. So the point of this article is that to fight against the common thinking that the rule of law and democracy are something kind of opposite to each other. No, actually it's not. Democracy and the rule of law, they have a dialectical relationship with each other, where the rule of law exists to protect democracy, and democracy exists, and democracy determines the rule of law, and the rule of law impacts back on democracy. And in order to have this goal, in order to build both the rule of law and build democracy and ensure social discipline, is that we, as Vietnamese people, as communists, as socialists, especially the Communist Party of Vietnam, we must understand theory. That's why it says here, very important. Without theory, you won't understand what we are talking about here. That was why I spent nearly 40 minutes just explain to you what dialectical materialism means, what historical materialism means, and what democratic essentialism means. Without understanding that, you won't be able to understand what this article is talking about. Study theory and make empirical assessment. Yes, because you have to practice in real life and learn empirical data and what works and what won't work, and to change in the future about what works and what won't work, and propose solution to maintain balance. Again, democratic essentialism here. The balance between, democracy and the rule of law and social discipline. Because, again, if you look from a kind of shallow perspective, they might look like they contradict each other. Democracy and social discipline. Ooh, democracy means freedom. I can do whatever the heck they want, right? But social discipline, isn't that they ban me from what I want to do? They take away my freedom. It is, that's going to be an argument coming from someone who have no knowledge about democratic essentialism. And this say that to maintain the balance between democracy and the social discipline. You have a saying in the West that my freedom ends when yours starts. Right? You have that saying, right? My freedom ends when yours starts. In Vietnam, yes, we have a democracy. You have a freedom, but it doesn't mean that you can do whatever the heck you want. You have to care about other people's freedom and democracy. And to maintain democracy and freedom in a whole entire society of 100 million people, we need to have a very strong set of rules and very strong set of social discipline to make sure that everybody can have the democracy and their freedom.
I want to answer a question real quick. Somebody said, let me find it in your thing. Somebody said, where's your ear rule? This is a good question, I thought. Curious about the use of rule of law. I know this is used by CPC. In the West, this is associated with the right-wing politicians. So could you articulate the difference in a communist country? I actually was wondering the same thing. So I researched this, and I think I have an answer. So there's two contexts in which Vietnam uses the term rule of law a lot. There's the foreign, like diplomacy context, like foreign relations, and there's the domestic policy context. So with foreign policy, it's pretty simple. It just means we all have we settle things peacefully. And this is something Vietnam has been very, very consistent about.
Yeah.
We work things out peacefully. We decide things like through the United Nations or through international diplomacy.
Yeah, 2 votes.
And then once we make an agreement, we stick to that agreement. And we don't use like war or intimidation or imperialism to...
Yeah, that's democratic centralism.
The USA and other imperialist countries do not generally follow rule of law. They use their force. They use like soft power, and they use, hard power as well to like shove their agenda down the world's throats. They interfere and do all kinds of things to destabilize countries, etc. And Vietnam is just basically saying, let's not do that. Let's work things out.
That is why we advocate for a multipolar world.
Right, and just not doing all this duplicitous stuff, illegal. So then, in the domestic context, they just mean like the law applies equally to everybody. That's what they mean. It's like party members should not be above the law. Nobody should be above the law. That's the idea. Because that's when I researched this by just searching through, because there are a lot of newspaper articles where that terminology gets used. And every time I read an article, it was either talking about foreign policy. The South China Sea gets talked about a lot because China will, unfortunately, breach agreements and that stuff from the past and send like boats and stuff where they don't belong. And that's the articles that Vietnam tends to talk about rule of law in a foreign context. And then domestically, it tends to be talking about like party members need to be just as accountable to any kind of legal, any laws as non-party members, etc., and so on and so forth and stuff. So hope that answers the question.
It means that, yes. All right, I guess you understand this part now. It's like introduction about why we need that and how to do that to maintain the balance is very important. The key part here, maintain the balance. Next part. In order to realize the basic goals and directions of the transition period to socialism in Vietnam, the 11th National Congress pointed out. Again, we are still in the transition period to socialism in Vietnam. We are not have full socialism yet. Particular attention must be paid to grasping and building the right balance in major relationship between renovation, stability, and development, between economic and political reforms, between market economy and socialist orientation, between development of productive forces and building and gradual improvement of socialist production relations. This is a historical materialism. I will break it down later, right after this paragraph. Between economic growth and cultural development, social progress and justice, between building socialism and defending the socialist fatherland, between independence, self-reliance, and international integration, between the leadership of the party, the management of the state, and the people's mastery. Now, this is a very compact of the basic understanding of Vietnamese communists about dialectical materialism, historical materialism. Very compact too, and it's written in this short paragraph. So, all right, again, particular attention must be paid to grasping and building the right balance. Very important here. The right balance in major relationship. Because building a balance is the core purpose of democratic centralism, is to balance between two opposing parts, so we can move forward in the future. In the video about dialectical materialism and democratic centralism too, I had an example for you about how the right balance have us move forward. It's like when you drive on the road, you have to maintain the right balance between left and right. so you can go straight. Okay, sometime when the road curves, you have to turn right or turn left. You let that one side win for a short time to maintain the whole movement of the car. But generally speaking, the whole road, in order to come to your destination, you need to maintain the right balance between right and left so you can go to your final destination. That just means that. And the market extensionism is just a principle to help you to maintain that balance accurately so you can reach your goal as fast as possible.
That's a good metaphor. I never thought about it that way. Another good thing about that metaphor is that if you just hold your hand on the wheel solidly and you don't move it at all, and you don't look at the road and you just stay in one position, you'll definitely crash.
Exactly. You would definitely crash.
Because the car is constantly, and just like your political movement, it's constantly moving, you know? There's always things are developing and changing all the time.
Yeah. The whole point is to reach your destination as fast as possible, but you still have to be safe, like the whole, maintain your existence until you reach your destination. So yeah, that's the whole purpose of democratic centralism. That's why in this article they said like maintain the right balance. It's not always just balance. It must be the right one, because sometimes you need to let democracy win, sometimes you need to let centralism win. But in the long run, the whole point is to maintain that right balance so you can move forward. Now, what are the major relationships we consider in Vietnam? All right. Between renovation, stability, and development. Yes, in a society like Vietnam, it must be in every single human society we need to develop. We need to have a better living conditions for our people, where we need to have a stronger economy to maintain the life of our people. At the same time, we need to maintain our stability and also do the renovation, change society into a better version of ourselves. That is very important. Yes, stability and development. Now, the next is between economic and political reforms. This relates a little bit to, historical materialism. Thank you, Gio, for your super chat. If you miss your message, please just text them.
Yeah.
So
no message, no emoji.
Oops. If you miss that, just text them and I will pay attention to that and read your message. But yes, thank you so much for your super chat. All right. Between economic and political reforms, this is a little bit to related to historical material. Economy, the base, the social existence, right? The social beings. It means that it's like the economic base where a group of human beings live in there, and it design our living conditions. It's designed, like life, daily life, to maintain our existence like that. To have us have a food to eat, have a clothes to wear, And then the political is what did you call it? Superstructure. Social superstructure. It is a reflection of human consciousness onto the social base like that. I mean, it's a little bit over your head, right? But long story short, it just shows the relationship between the base and the superstructure. Between the market economy and socialist orientation. Now, this is the part that usually we got like misunderstood a lot by the West, especially from bad faith people. What we have in Vietnam right now is a socialist orientation market economy. Socialist oriented market economy. Right. This is usually got attacked from bad faith, people in the West, about they think that when they read like socialist oriented market economy, what they only saw is that a market there. So it must be like free market. So it must be Vietnam is capitalist. Vietnam is straight to communism. It's a free market. Without actually understanding what the heck did we mean when we said it is the socialist-oriented market economy? First of all, market economy doesn't mean free market. It's totally different. It just means an economy that has market. And market doesn't mean capitalism. I don't know how, but because of the lack of understanding about capitalism, those people who love capitalism, who support capitalism, they do not know nothing about capitalism itself. Most of them think market means capitalism. Somehow capitalism came up with market and it's totally an invention of capitalism. Like, no, dude, we've been trading with each other for thousands of freaking years. 1,000 years before capitalism even existed. Even in the slavery society, we had market. Market doesn't mean capitalism. It's not. So market economy doesn't mean capitalist. All right? It doesn't mean free market. It's not a free market. The government of Vietnam have very strong regulations to the business sector of Vietnam, and they cannot just do whatever the heck they want. No, they can't. And especially here now we have a socialist-oriented market economy. So that's a very big difference. The socialist-oriented part means that, as I said, they have a very strong regulation on capitalists, private-owned companies, and businesses to make sure that those people, they cannot fully control the market, and they will have to, support the people. That is why Vietnam, we have a strong price stabilization for essential products such as rice, medicine, and in the crisis time, they also pork too, and some kind of meat too. Price stabilization, I had a whole video talking about it. It means that the companies who sell rice or medicine, they have to agree with regulation from the government that whenever there's an assignment or an order from the government, they have to maintain the low price for people. They cannot just take advantage of the situation of the crisis to raise the price to make profit. For example, rice is like our constant product under our stabilization program. It means that we set a ceiling price for rice. It cannot be higher than that. And our domestic price for rice is different from the international price of rice, because when we export it, we charge it according to the market. But in Vietnam, we have price stabilization program, means that it must be always cheap for everybody, every Vietnamese to afford it. So that is the strong regulation that we are talking about. Another example of strong regulation about the socialist-oriented part in this market economy, for example, is that when COVID-19 happened in 2020 and 2021 in Vietnam, Vin Group is a big corporation in Vietnam owned by Vietnamese people. At that time, they were making, like cars and electrical bikes at that time. But during the crisis like that, Vietnam needed ventilators. So the government of Vietnam had an order to order those people to stop making cars and electrical bikes and make ventilators. And that corporation had to do it because that is the freaking order and they have to do it. It was why they haunted their production for a few months and focused everything on making ventilators so they can donate it to hospitals, to medical centers, and also to donate it to other countries who may need it at that time. Now that is the difference. Is that a rate from $27? Yo, welcome. Hi there. Is it a rate from that? Hi, welcome. We are reading, this article from
$27 rated. I can tell you. I actually have the Twitch chat.
Yes.
59 people rated it. Whoa.
Ooh. Hi, everybody.
Aboard.
Welcome aboard. Hi. I am, just for, in case that anybody the first time watching me, I am Luna. I am a Vietnamese communist born and living in Vietnam. Today I'm reading an article written by, a magazine, run by the Communist Party of Vietnam, talking about our path of building democracy and how to maintain the development in the economy of Vietnam, and also at the same time maintain the stability in our society, to fight against all the external threats. But yes, and this is a heavily, kind of, what do you call it? Theory kind of article. That was why I have to, educate you a little bit about, dialectical materialism, historical materialism, and democratic centralism. But welcome everybody to the stream.
Chroma Luma had another good question.
Okay.
Are price stabilizations at cost to government, or are capitalists forced to cut profits? Capitalists are definitely forced to cut profits.
Yes.
During COVID, a lot of grocery stores were really pissed because they had to sell eggs at a loss for like weeks.
Yes.
But that's what they had to do. And by the way, it wasn't just to help the consumer, but it was also to help the farmers. So they had to buy the eggs from the farmers for more money than because you got to remember also that the farmers in Vietnam, every farmland,
they must have at least 30%, profit. The farmers.
Yeah, but the reason that is because farms in Vietnam are completely socialized in the sense that there are no corporate farms.
Yeah, no corporate.
Every farm is owned by a cooperative or a family, and they are there's no corporate farms whatsoever. So they had to buy the grocery stores had to buy the eggs from farmers.
Make sure they have at least
for more money
30%.
than they could sell them to the consumers. So that's one example of that. So.
Yeah. That seems to be, important distinction between capitalist market regulation versus communist, in my view. Yes, that's it. Even though, we still have a market, but how we run is totally different. As you won't see it clearly in, stable time, when everything is normal and run like smoothly, everything is okay. But you will see it very clearly in crisis time.
COVID changed my mind about a lot of things. Just living through COVID.
Yeah.
The way that they were able to, and that's with lots and lots of problems and corruption happening.
Yeah, right.
They still
imagine without corruption how good it could be. So yeah, I mean, you will see it very well in a crisis time because we saw that the government, even though still freaking a lot of corrupted members, yes, it's not perfect, we deal with it, but we still managed to help the people, force a big corporation in Vietnam to stop making cars and electrical bikes and make ventilators and donate them to the hospital in other countries. Imagine the government of the USA forced Elon Musk to stop making Tesla and start making ventilators so they can donate those ventilators to other countries and to hospitals who really need. Imagine the power that the state and the state willing to do that, right? Just like a dream. No, it won't happen ever. No. And imagine, there was an egg shortage in the USA. I remember that, right? And actually just double the price for a short time in the USA. Remember that?
Yep.
Imagine if that happened in the USA and the government forced the corporation, for the supermarkets to buy eggs from, farmers with at least 30% of profit, and then they sell that eggs with a lower price to maintain the price stabilization to consumers. No, it won't happen. No. So that is a big difference. And of course, liberals, especially, Western liberals, and also, yes, Vietnamese liberals and neoliberals and anti-communists and reactionaries, they will never tell you that. They won't. They don't. They don't want you to know about that. Or even they do not know about that because they ignore it. They just want, to attack, to feel like they are superior somehow. Even though, in fact, they are very ignorant, and anybody with just a little bit of knowledge about that would know how much of ignorant they are. All right, next part about maintain the right balance between the development of productive forces and building and gradual improvement of sources production relations. Ooh, this is totally, absolutely historical materialism. Now, let's talk about this a little bit in case you don't know what this means. What is productive forces and production relations? According to historical materialism, there are two main forces, two main aspects. Actually, there are two main aspects that drive changes in a society. First of all, is productive forces. All right, productive forces is very important, like human resources, the means of production. Very important to have that. You must have human labor and you must have nature for you to work on. All right, that process, the productive forces make commodities, make society, they make food, clothes, and housing and medicine, all the basic stuff that to maintain our existence. That's the productive forces. But that productive forces must be processed under some very certain specific relations, and that's what we call production relations. Okay, now every single society have productive forces, must have productive forces. Like that is the base of society. You must have the working class, you must have the means of production, you must have the land, the trees, the seeds, the water, so human labor can work on it and make stuff. But the thing that distinct this society from that society is production relations. What you have in the West is a capitalist production relations, where the capitalists, they own the means of production. They own the land, right? They own the capital, they own money, and then they hire you to work for them so they can take profit, surplus value. That's why it makes them so rich. Now that is the distinction of a capitalist mode of production, which is the capitalist production relations, where the workers do not own anything and they have to sell the labor to the capitalists. What we have right now in Vietnam, we are building a socialist production relation, which is very important, and we are building it. We're not fully reached it yet. Nope, because we still have a capitalist in Vietnam who own companies, private companies, right? But the difference is this: you have to understand this. And it's not, we cannot just have a socialist production relation one night through a blink of an eye or something like that. No, we can't. We're building it. And what the difference right now in Vietnam after a few decades of building this is that in the agricultural sector, farmers of Vietnam own our own farm. It means that farmers of Vietnam owns our means of production. That is a very long step ahead compared to the West, where farmers do not own nothing. All right. Farmers in Vietnam, about 70% of Vietnamese population are farmers, and every single one who were born in rural area. Remember this. Not every single one, but every single one who were born in rural area will be assigned a piece of farmland by the government.
You could also get farmland for free if you move to a rural area.
Yes, if you move to rural area and you start a family book there and you claim for a piece of farmland.
They'll give it to you for free.
Yes.
You just have to keep it productively.
You have to keep it productive. And if you don't do anything on it from 5 to 10 years, the local government will take it back. Now that is a regulation that you have to follow. Okay, so the part that we already achieved in Vietnam is that we have the farmers of Vietnam own our own means of production. All right. So how does it work when how does it work when we don't have a farming corporation? So what do we like that? For example, a Vinamilk is a milk company in Vietnam, partially owned by the state of Vietnam, and this is how they have a farmland to grow grass and to have cows to make milk. They would have to go talk to farmers in the areas that they want to put, their factory, their milk factory in there. They persuade the farmers to go work to grow grass for them and to grow cows for them. They would have once the farmers in that area agree to do that, means like a lot of farmers in that area must agree to do that. That company would go and educate farmers about, okay, well, what this is all the procedure that you need to do to grow grass, and I will give you the seeds for the grass, and I will teach you how to grow this grass and how to harvest this grass, and also I also like teach you how to like raise cows, and I will give you the baby cows so you can grow them, and this is how to collect those milk, and I will buy the milk back from you. That is a core difference. So the Vietnam milk, they have to go persuade farmers who own farm, because the company cannot own any farm. Persuade farmers to grow grass for them, to raise cows for them, to give them like technical help and seeds, something like that, and advice. And so they have to promise to buy the milk back from the farmer with agreed price. And my battery is running low. Okay, it's working now. All right. Okay. So yeah, that's a big difference. Here is economic feudalism with extra steps. It's sad, I know. Right, next part is about not finished yet. So one of the main principle of historical materialism is that the production relations must suit with the development level of the productive forces. How to explain this in the simple terms? It means that productive forces, including the working class, the main part of the productive forces, the working class, we always develop, especially ideologically. So, for example, the working class in Vietnam, we are highly developed in understanding, the class consciousness, understanding about the truth of capitalism, and I will go a bit of moving toward communism, have a stateless class society, right? Understand that we must own the means of production. Okay, the level of development of the working class or of the productive forces. Many times, the production relations cannot meet that level of development, and that's gonna cause huge contradiction in a society where the production relations are outdated compared to the level of development of the working class. The working class will rise up and demand to change that old production relations. That was when revolution started. In Vietnam in 1940s, Vietnam was enslaved by French colonialists. So the production relation at that time was literally slavery. But the development of the class consciousness of Vietnamese worker at the time were very high. We were trained in Marxism, Leninism. We learned that we are very powerful if we organize together, and we want to own our own means of production. We want to have a better living condition. That was why Vietnamese workers, Vietnamese farmers rose up, had a revolution in 1945, and built a socialist system, socialist production relations. I hope you understand this. That is very important. So the main principle of historical materialism is to make sure that the production relations must suit with the level of development of the productive forces. Because if we don't suit that, there will be movement, there will be revolution. All right, that is why my channel, my point of talking to the people, especially in the West, is to raise your class consciousness, to teach you, to tell you how powerful you are if you organize together, if you stick together. You cannot act alone. As an individual, you are nothing, but together with millions of you, you are the main force of society. The whole point of it is to make you understand how powerful you are and how life could have been better under a new production relations. Now you are under capitalist production relations where your labor is being stolen by capitalists and makes them super rich while you're living in a poor living conditions. You don't even have enough money to buy food. You have to work 2, 3, 4 jobs just to earn enough for living. You don't have a healthcare. Very important for you to understand where you are right now and where you want to be. And in order to raise class consciousness, you have to educate people, talk to people, organize your propagate to the people. And eventually, when the productive forces, your productive forces develop enough to the point that it can rise up, have a revolution, and end the old production relations and start a new one that is more suitable with the development. That's it. Bill, this is very interesting. Yes, it is a historical materialism 101 for you. To understand the core is the. So I love historical materialism in a sense that it teaches you how to look at human societies in a very clear-headed kind of way. You will not be confused. You will not be like lost in the mountain of knowledge about what happened in the past, the history, this aspect, that aspect, this factor, that factor, this is the future. It's usually you will be overwhelmed. Look at the history of human society, but historical materialism will teach you to learn, where to look for, how to analyze the knowledge you have. Yes.
Gordon Otoro had a good question.
Okay.
About the farming. You just had your finger on it.
Yeah. So it's more like a federation of farming cooperatives, or is it more like a top-down planning thing?
So 2 answers to that question. Number 1 is for a really deep answer. Go to youtube.com/LunaOy and look up Luna's land reform video because she explains it in great detail. But short answer is it's very decentralized and it's essentially at the village level in most cases. So like in Luna's village, home village, all the families in the village kind of have like a big piece of farm, a big collective farm land thing, but every kind of family will have their own plots and then they all work together on it. So when it's harvesting time, they all kind of like help each other harvest everybody's pieces of land. And it's interesting too, because if you walk through the fields, you'll see like a strip of land and it might have one variety of grass and then like one strip of, not rice. And then one strip over, it'll be a different variety of rice. So like the different families might choose to grow different strains of rice, but it's all rice and it all grows basically the same. And they all collectively plant and harvest together. They share the equipment, like the heavy machinery and that sort of thing. And so it's more or less at the village level.
Yeah.
Very decentralized.
Run by cooperatives. Yeah. In Vietnam, we have over 25,000 cooperatives. And there will be more in the future. That's our official goal. Okay, back to the historical materialism. Yes, it is the way, a methodology for you to look at development and the change of society, understand why it changed, how did it change, and how can we turn this into, something that benefit us in the future. How to change society enough that we can have a revolution and we can have a socialism and communism. It's just that. All right, back to the article. Between economic growth and cultural development is not easy. So the progress and justice, yes. Social building, social funding, dealing with a lot. The independence, self-reliance, international integration. Yes. The main, what do you call it? Principle of foreign affairs of Vietnam is that we maintain our independence and freedom, self-reliance. But at the same time, we are still internationalist. We work with other countries, we respect other countries, and we advocate for a multipolar world. They are the leadership of the party will lead, the state manage, and the people master. That's a very famous line. The Communist Party of Vietnam show, like this is a socialist democracy where, we want to protect the democracy and freedom of the people. And the parties just lead the way and the state just manage it. The true masters are the people. Next part. The 12th Party Congress transformed the relationship between the market economy and socialist orientation into the relationship between obeying market rules and ensuring socialist orientation. All right. So in the 12th Party Congress, it transformed the relationship. We stopped calling it, like to maintain the balance between the market economy and social orientation. Now we want to obey market rules and at the same time ensuring socialist orientation. Makes sense, right? Do I need to explain more about this? Just feel free to tell me yes if this is necessary. It's a simple yes. We have to obey market rules. Like we're not living in a vacuum. We live in a world, in a globe, in a global with other countries, and we need to obey the common rules of market so we can, survive in this world and trade with other countries. At the same time, we cannot abandon our ideology, abandon our goal and destination. That's why we ensure our socialist orientation. As not important, the improving the institution of a socialist-oriented market economy. All right. To implement national development strategies until 2030 with a vision 2045, the 13th Party Congress emphasized we need to master and maintain a balance in major relationships, and especially there is a newly added relationship between practicing democracy and strengthening the rule of law, ensuring social discipline. And this major relationship reflects the dialectical laws and the core theory of the Communist Party of Vietnam's reform policy. It needs to be further supplemented, improved, and developed to adapt to reality. It requires us a good awareness through a holistic understanding, and effective implementation is essential to avoid extreme one-sided viewpoint. Yeah, we just added this in our latest Congress last year that we need to, maintain the democracy and social discipline, the rule of law. And I explained it earlier in the starting part of this stream is that, in order to protect democracy and freedom of the people, we need to have a strong set of rules to do that. We cannot just like go around and don't have any rule about that. Basic theoretical framework on the relationship between democracy and the rule of law and social discipline. As a matter of course, democracy, the practice of democracy, legislation, and social discipline cannot exist or promote their values and roles if they are separate or opposed to each other. Democracy, law, rule of law, and social discipline need an overall operating mechanism to ensure sustainable implementation everywhere, everywhere, and in all areas in social life. First of all, democracy and law, the practice of democracy and rule of law and social discipline, have a dialectical relationship. They are interlinked and mutually reinforcing processes. Democracy is the goal, condition, and motivation for legal improvement, meeting the requirements of building a rule of law state. Practice democracy. Now, this is important to understand. Democracy is the goal, the motivation, and the law is an instrument to practice democracy. The law not only has the task of recognizing and defining the legal aspects of democracy, but also needs to be implemented democratically in legal life, from lawmaking to law enforcement, from legal regulation to legal consciousness and legal culture. This is the best way to enhance the role and social value of law in modern life. Law is an agent and tool of democracy, but it remains relative independence from democracy. The law does not give rise to democracy, as democracy results from the long-term struggle of the working people, the cognitive process, and the inevitability of social progress, not only being influenced by economic and non-economic factors, but the law also depends on the current level of democracy or other democracies. Democracy, in turn, depends on objective economic, political, social, and cultural conditions. This is a little bit heavy, right, for you, right? But if you watch the video about the democratic centralism, where I explain about democracy, it just means this. Long story short, democracy is the result of a long-term struggle of the working class, right from society, from slavery to feudalism to capitalism to, in the future, socialism and communism. Democracy arose from the struggles of oppressed people. Oppressed people in the history of human beings. We always wanted to be free, wanted to be heard, right? To raise our voices. That was why we struggle. That's why we kept fighting and fighting for more and more democracy. In this capitalist society, because it's only democracy for the bourgeoisie, and the working class still don't have democracy, means that we will rise up to gain our own democracy, to gain our own freedom. Okay, so democracy arose from the struggles of the working people, while the law is just a tool that exists to protect that democracy. It's just an instrument to practice that democracy. It is partially independent from democracy. So democracy is totally dependent from the law. Okay, because democracy arose from the struggle of the working class. Democracy is independent. But the law is a tool that made under specific democracy, an instrument to practice and protect that democracy. It will impact back on democracy. It has a relative independence position to democracy. It means that it has some power over democracy, but just small, can just only impact back on it. Democracy is the main thing that determines that. All right. Next.
20 minutes.
Oh shit.
This is your 20-minute call.
It's freaking long article. Not gonna lie.
Might have to do part 2.
The law with its advantages and disadvantages has an impact on democracy. Exactly what it just said. The law can promote and support democracy and vice versa, can inhibit democracy in many forms.
From now on, when I tell you how many minutes are left, I want, like if I say 20 minutes, I want you to go, thank you, 20.
Thank you, Vanny.
That's what they do in theater.
Okay.
It makes me feel like I'm back in high school theater again.
Okay. The law can promote and support democracy and vice versa, can inhibit democracy in many forms. A legal regulation that is not clear, not transparent, or improper will lead to the decline of democracy. That is freaking true. A wrong administrative or judicial decision also affects the practice of democracy. That is not to mention the unclear recognition by law of the mechanism and forms to practice democracy to define whether it is a direct or representative democracy. Along with the development of society, democracy and law are increasingly being perfected. People not only have democratic aspirations, but also need to feel the existence of democracy, the practice of democracy, and law enforcement. Ho Chi Minh once reaffirmed, the state needs to educate the people to know how to enjoy democratic rights, know how to use their democratic rights, dare to speak, dare to do, within the legal framework. The essence of the đổi mới in Vietnam. Now this is important. A lot of people ask me why Vietnam did the đổi mới in Vietnam, like betray communism using through đổi mới. Like, no, it's not. The essence of the đổi mới in Vietnam is building a socialist democracy. Accordingly, democracy is both the goal and the driving force of the renovation and building of a socialist rule of law state. Democracy is the basic method and management principle of the state and society in which all citizens are respected and equal in engaging at every level of government to solve national issues. Our party has affirmed that democracy associated with social justice must be practiced in all political, economic, cultural, and social fields. Democracy goes hand in hand with discipline and must be institutionalized by law and guaranteed by law. Rights and duties go hand in hand. Exactly. Rights and duties. You have a rights, but also you have a duties. You have a freedom, but you also have responsibility. Democracy cannot be exercised without the rule of law. Democracy is the driving force, goal, and remit to improve the law. Yes, democracy without the rule of law will be the rise of fascism and dictatorship. When, assholes have the freedom to do whatever the heck they want. And the people, oops, I think that just that delivery. Alo ạ? Alo ạ? Ok, cửa trước cửa sau anh nhỉ? Ok. Vâng, em xuống luôn nha. Vâng. Ok, back door.
Okay. You should mute it when you get calls like
that. Okay. All new legal concept and regulation result directly or indirectly from democracy. When citizens' voices are heard, the quality and effectiveness of legal normative documents in Vietnam are further improved. Democracy is also reflected in legal research. Many political legal conceptions have been changed more objectively on the principle of traditional inheritance and ensuring sources orientation. All right. Let me check the chat right now, see if you have any questions. Oh gosh. Liberals here in the USA are praising rainbow Lockheed Martin logos for pride, and liberals are pro-war in the same way conservatives were in 2003. Liberalism now is the new conservatism. I like the way wait a minute, it doesn't show here. I like the way you put it earlier. It is a reflection of consciousness upon the social base, even if it's a bit heady. I know, but if it's just like you will get used to this term very, very, very soon. It is a very common and this like way of understanding of commonness. Is that the superstructure is reflection of consciousness upon the social base that we are living in. So we're living in this
society.
We're living in a society. We have these material conditions. We have these living conditions, and our consciousness must find a way to understand that. I think that this time, we should leave the article for the next episode of my stream, and now I will try to answer all of your questions, if any. So yeah, our consciousness always constantly trying to understand the world around us, the base around us. And because due to the limitation of our brain and our knowledge, we cannot fully understand it yet. We just try our best to have a reflection about society, the base that we are living in. That is why each of a person, we have our own understanding of the society that we are living in. That is why even though living in the same society, in the same city, even in the same building, but we have a liberals, we have a conservative, we have socialists, we have a communist, we have a Marxist, we even have a fucking fascist. Because each of our consciousness have a different reflection of the same base that we are living in. We as communists, we only claim to have a more accurate understanding of this base because we got trained, we got knowledge, we got scientific methodology to analyze this base, so we can have a pretty close and accurate understanding of this base. Meanwhile, for example, like fascists, their conscience is totally different from us. They blame, non-white people about every single problem they have in life. They have the hatred inside their hearts and in their brain, and they have a false consciousness. They have wrong information about history and society, and they let that hatred lead their way. The same as conservative and liberals. Like liberals, they are pretty much closer. They understand the struggles in society, they understand the problems in society, but instead of having an accurate analysis of society about why society sucks, why the workers are so poor, why we are so oppressed, instead of looking at we know it's a capitalism, it's exploitation from capitalists, why we are miserable this day. But those liberals, they are misled. They don't understand. They still think that we can still work within the system. All right. So like those liberals, they support LGBTQ plus community. So they are a little bit more progressive than fascists, than conservatives, right? They support, and they understand the struggles. They see the struggles of the LGBTQ plus community, and they want to support us. But because they don't have enough understanding of why this community, our community, LGBTQ plus community, are struggling. Instead of looking at the core problem, the core issue, the core reason for that which is capitalism and exploitation, that like feel like racism, and all kind of discrimination like that. That is why they support pinkwash imperialism. That is why they support rainbow capitalism. It means that the person in the chat said earlier that liberals now support Lockheed Martin with their new rainbow logos. Oh, so they see that capitalists support LGBTQ plus, it must be a good thing. They support the capitalists. Like, you're so close, but yet so far. Because there's the capitalists that benefit from it. They just like make use of it. They recuperate that and they make profit out of it. They don't give a shit about LGBTQ plus community. No. All they want to do is to, like, it's disgusting. Seeing the capitalists just put a rainbow like Oreo cookies. A while ago they had a tweet freaking trying to, get LGBTQ plus community to buy their cookies.
Lockheed Martin's a better example. Lockheed Martin being in the recent Pride Parade.
Fucking disgusting. Lockheed Martin is the biggest weapon corporation of the USA. It is literally the source for death all over the world.
War crime factory.
It's a war crime factory. All it does is to bring death to the rest of the world. They don't give a shit about LGBTQ community, LGBTQ plus community. They don't. All they care about is money, and they make weapons and they sell weapons. They create chaos and wars. But because now they join the bride, they wave the rainbow flag. A bunch of liberals now embrace them. It's so disgusting to me. It's so... I lost words. I'm speechless at those liberals.
Chroma Luma recognized your tank tattoo.
So, you see, I hope you understand, the frustration I have right now, how shallow, how ignorant those people are. They don't look at a deeper level of an issue.
Well, there's another aspect to it too, which is, hold on, let me crawl over.
Crawl over here.
I do. I mean, of course, it's absolutely true that there's a lot of false consciousness in the USA. Obviously, I mean, most Americans are deeply indoctrinated, right? That's not, of course, but also like a company like Lockheed Martin has so much power and so much wealth and resources that they can easily buy their way into a movement, and they could, I mean, who's going to tell them no? It's like, it's and if you have enough ad money, like Oreo cookies was, your previous example. If you have enough ad money, it's trivial to have way more presence on social media than actual radical LGBTQ plus voices, especially because radical LGBTQ plus voices are completely suppressed by the algorithm, as we all know. Like every time I do a video about queer liberation or anything like that, it gets heavily suppressed. And I'm not the only one saying that. This is something that's been known. It's been proven. So Oreo cookies can go and they can make a boosted, promoted, advertised tweet or Facebook post or whatever. And, 50 times more people are going to see that than any radical LGBTQ plus voice.
Yeah.
So it's all about material relations as well. And the fact that our social media platforms are owned by the same people that are engaging in rainbow capitalism and rainbow imperialism and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's all connected. I just don't want to overemphasize blaming individuals when it's also, capital is a big, big problem with doing that. So. What was that? You're so cute. Sorry, I have to do a little twee. We have to be twee for a second.
Dog food.
Dog food. You want to tell them what dog food is?
So dog food is a term that means that you will force to see a couple be sweet to each other.
Luna doesn't
means that we are forcing a dog food.
We're forcing you to eat dog food.
We're forcing you to eat dog food. Good job. How is this dog food? How do you think about this dog food?
Okay, even I'm cringing now.
Yeah, right? It is a concept to tell you how cringy it is.
Yeah.
It's not like a serious thing. It's like a sarcasm. Sarcastic way of saying it.
Cuteness overload, Fami said.
Alright.
It's better than dog food.
Well.
Alright, Luna, you got 7 minutes.
Thank you, 7.
Yes! She did it.
Rainbow capitalism also give fuel to fascists so they can benefit from both sides. Yeah, because fascists, they are very queerphobic. And, rainbow capitalism, now they can they appeal to those queerphobic people to join their force. It's disgusting. They're all disgusting. They all fucking never give a shit about us.
You'll have companies play both sides too. Like you'll have companies. One day they'll spend money on an AstroTurf campaign for anti-trans legislation, in the Midwest somewhere, and then the next day they'll have presence at a pride parade. You know what I mean? They're playing both sides and they're trying to just divide and conquer the working class. It's disgusting. We warmed a lot of hearts, apparently.
Ooh.
See, you should be nice to me more.
I should be nice to you more. Come here.
It warms people's hearts.
Come here, I'll be nice to you more.
Oh my gosh, you've only got 5 minutes.
Thank you. 5. Why are you swapping?
I told you I went outside for 5 minutes this morning, and then I just went and picked up that thing. Do you want to do the heart? It's a heart.
It's a heart.
This is so great.
This is so silly. Go away. Go. Can't stand it. Oh, Bill, I ate some dog treats once, but they were really fancy, like cookies. I swear they made them for humans too. Well, have you tried dog treats yet? EJ? Have you tried dog food yet? Dog
No
treats?
way. Eating dog food?
No, like dog treats.
No, I couldn't do it.
Bill did it, and it's like cookies.
Really?
They said like I swear they made them for humans too.
There's a smell that dog treats have that's just disgusting to me.
Mm.
I don't know what it is. It's like this deep animal smell. It almost smells like, you know, the smell when like a rat's nest or something, where like an animal's been sleeping somewhere for a long time. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Dog treats have this kind of like animal stink.
What about cat?
Cat food?
I try to smell cat food.
Cat food is also disgusting. I don't know.
To be honest, I did try.
You ate cat food?
To eat cat food, but I couldn't. I brought it so close to my nose, like.
Did you put it in your mouth?
No,
Okay.
I just put it to make sure, like, no. I just smell it right here. It's like, nope.
That's horrible. There's Gio with another super chat.
Hey.
Heart. You read it, Luna. Read it.
Heart warms to walk 10. Aww. As someone who ate random shit as a kid, cat food is better.
Jason Kukolo also said Lockheed Martin was a major war criminal factory, even as far back in time as full-scale entry in Vietnam.
Yep.
Yeah, Lockheed Martin did a lot of damage in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Took a lot of lives. They were making hand over fist. They were making so much money off of the Vietnam War, and they're making a lot of money now off of the wars now.
Yeah. Oh, EJ, grab me those mangoes. I want to brag to you. Been talking about mangoes in the last broadcast. I have to show them.
So I guess you're gonna finish the article next week. Is that the idea?
Yeah, that's the idea. Totally. Ooh, nice. This is a mango that we grow. I mean, it doesn't look nice because
it tastes so good.
Tastes so good though. Smell really good. So this is the story of my family's mango tree. I would love to tell you the story. When I was a little kid, my dad went to the south to, he worked as a construction worker. He worked for the government. He was sent to the south to build roads in the south. And one day he came back home bringing a huge bag of mangoes back home. And we, of course, we share that to the whole village too. That the gift from the south. So at that time we had a big tree near our gate to the road. So it's like for the shade for the house and the road. And then that tree was just like for the shade only. It didn't have any fruit or something. So my mom wanted to get rid of it because we want to have a fruit tree. So this have the shade and the fruits, not the shade alone. And we have a no regulation in Vietnam that you cannot grow any fruit trees on the yard. That is BS. It's the truth in the USA. That was why until now you do not have many fruit trees in the roads in the USA because it was illegal a long time ago. So at that time, like when we ate that mango from my dad, we just threw our seeds like randomly in the garden. And several of them, from that seed, they grow a tree from it. And my mom, one day, she saw this tree grow next to the tree that my mom wanted to get rid of. She thought like, all right, I think I'm going to keep this one because it's next to the tree that I want to get rid of. So I don't have to move anything. So just waited for a few years, and my mom and dad did chop out that big tree and let this mango tree grow. So this mango tree is almost like 30 years old. Something like that. And now it's become like a huge tree that whole tree this season have enough mango to feed at least a half of the village. Nearly every single day, there's some mangoes will fall down from the tree.
It's like mango rain.
Mango rain. And people pass by and just take it. Because my mom begged them to take them because we cannot.
They got so many freaking mangoes, it's wild.
So
it's like a bumper crop.
You don't believe it. So much you don't believe it.
Speaking of mangoes, I'm getting hungry.
You're right. Smells so good though.
Wrap it
So
up.
yeah, I grabbed some and I made mango jam. So and this is like.
Oh, yeah, I haven't even tried the mango jam yet.
Oh, you haven't yet.
I want to have a mango jam session.
Mango for the commune, exactly. We give all our mangoes for free. We never charge anybody anything.
That sounds like communism.
Yeah, right? Evil, right? You dare to have a free mango? Yeah, that's bad. So, yeah. Everybody, I'm very hungry right now. And I want to have lunch. And I'm going to have this. I really want to send, seriously, deep inside my heart, I've been thinking about this. I really want to send all of our mangoes to every single one of you.
But that's illegal and impossible.
Illegal and impossible. Because the U.S. is so fascistic that we cannot bring any live seeds.
Most countries have rules like that, Luna. Because of invasive species and stuff. Far be it for me to defend the USA, but like, I think there's a lot of agricultural stuff you can't bring into Vietnam.
True. Take back my words. Not fascistic.
So come to Vietnam and we'll give you a mango. How about
come
that?
To Vietnam and give you free mango.
It's the Luna Oil guarantee.
Good oil guarantee. Come to Vietnam and I'll give you free mango. Come to Vietnam, especially in May. Remember, come to Vietnam in May and June. There will be free mango.
There will be mangoes.
There will be mangoes free. Very good. And you can eat as much as you can.
I drink your mango milkshake.
Even US rejecting Luna's mango.
Synthotic is coming to Vietnam in August. Send us an email.
Email us.
NonCompeteCoop@gmail.
NonCompeteCoop@gmail. Then put that in the.
Yeah. Put the subject line, give me my mango.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Non-compete co-op, right?
Yep. COOP.
All right. You mean that hopefully there's still some mango left in August. I'm not sure about that because mango they ripe just in just 2 months. Can you make juice? Ooh, like anything. Whew. We just eat them fresh like this. You can eat green mango too. It's really great. You can make green mango salad. So good. Green mango salad. You can make it like cook sour soup from green mango. So it's sour and smell good. You can make mango sticky rice Thailand style. Cook sticky rice. Cut a piece of ripe mangoes on it and eat it with coconut milk. You can have.
Luna, you're killing me. Come on.
You can also have a mango smoothie. You have a mango smoothie. You have a mango ice cream. You have a mango juice. You have a mango jam.
You're making me so hungry.
You have a candy mango.
Please
mango
stop the
cake.
stream and let's go eat food. Stop. You always do this at the very end of the stream. Right before lunch, you start talking about delicious food.
Mango for everyone. It's truly, in my opinion, it's truly mango for everyone. Nearly every single morning and every single afternoon, me and my mom climb up to the roof to take mangoes, and everybody to pass by the road look at us and like, hey, you want some mangoes? From the roof of our house next to the road, and we're like, okay, I want some, and then just grab their bag and grab the mangoes home. All right, okay. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry, EJ, for making you more hungry. And thank you so much for the super chat. And I hope that we all doing well. And bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.